Hey, friends, welcome back. Saturday morning, time for comic book chat and hangout. And I'm sorry I missed a week, but we're going to catch up on why. And I've got all kinds of fun things to show and share as far as how that went. Uh, I got both my COVID and flu shots yesterday, so sore, but not feeling the effects as of yet. So I'm hopeful that I'll have a nice, easy weekend dealing with all that. My immune system is pretty hardcore. I think having worked with kids as long as I had little kids, so I tend to get a pretty sturdy immune system, but you just never know. You just never know. Well, let's say hello to the chat. We got Legion of Comics, one of the C3 homies. Happy to see you, Mark. I hope your Saturday is off to a good start. I don't know if you're running off to sports stuff with the kids today or not. We got Las Cruces. I just put his winnings from C3 on my channel into the mail yesterday. So on their way to you, sir. Hopefully going to get to you at the beginning of next week. We got Robert Galvin in the chat. Robert, if you're going live later, let me know. I want to make sure that I either catch it on the replay or I'm in the live chat. But hit me in the comments to remind me if you are going live later today, because usually he's going live in about an hour or two. What is going on, Ruben Guzman? Ruby G is in the chat. My homie in the neighborhood here. We went comic hunting not too long ago. I hope your Saturday's off well. And another local homie. What's going on, Kevin? Entropy in Comics. Happy Saturday. I know you usually work Saturdays. I hope you're not working too hard. Moderator extraordinaire. Latest wrench in my channel. We got Christina Payne, and she's so great about dropping all the YouTube channel links. So if you don't know any of the people in the chat, if you're new and you're like, hey, who are these people? All the links are here because I'll tell you right now, they're all quality people, and I appreciate that all of those links. Robert, if he's going live later, his link is right there, making sure that those things are all there. What is up? DJ Y is in the chat. I mailed his wife's winnings just on Friday, so they're on the way to him and Bethany. So congrats to you. I think I've shipped out everything from C3 that was purchased during my stream, so all that stuff is either in people's hands or nearly there. Drew Manchu, homie, what is going on? This gentleman has been making a ton of great videos lately on his YouTube and on his Instagram. So yes, definitely worth your time there. Well, Boar, what is going on? Good to see you, sir. Happy Saturday. Where are we going? Still scrolling down. I was hanging out with this gentleman last night. The Reverend was over there on the Tony Sanders YouTube channel for The Hunt. I won 3 out of the 5 rounds. I could not close it out, though. I lost in the final round. That final round will get you. It'll get you. But it was a whole lot of fun over there on Tony Sanders' channel. If you missed it, it's in my community tab. I always try to, share whenever I'm going to be on a YouTube channel that's not my own. So you can always scroll back through and see some guest appearances over there in my community tab. Geeking out with Roscoe. What is going on, Roscoe? I'm happy that you're in the chat, and hope you're feeling better, getting some of that mobility and strength back, my man. Hardcore. I just think of Bubbles from the Powerpuff Girls. I mean, all right. This is the GoFundMe for Jen, and we're definitely going to be talking about her a lot this morning. Appreciate you dropping that, Christina. Big time. Let's see. Drew Manchu says he's digging for Marvel Legends at Ollie's. Shoppers hear me watching the dad from the Family Ties about nothing but funny books. I mean, there's worse comparisons. He has a lot more hair than me, I think. What is up, the Rod, the freaking Rican in the chat? He's been dropping a ton of content lately, almost daily live streams and shorts and videos. He is absolutely crushing it lately. Ian from Tacoma Comics, he says, I could have been a contender. You could have been. What's going on, Ian? Air Spider, this is usually lunchtime for he and his kiddos. So hopefully they're having a nice little, getting some lunch together over there. We got Nick from Comic Culture, another great YouTube community member, content creator, always making great content and super knowledgeable about what's on the shelves at your LCS. So much appreciated for you making some time, my man. Sorry, I hope you and others know the lines from Powerpuff. It wasn't a diss. No, it wasn't a diss. My girls are Powerpuff fans, for sure. That is fair. But let's talk about what's going on here. I was in Portland last weekend. I flew out, was it Thursday night? I was there Friday, Saturday, and then flew home Sunday. I tried to shoot as much video as I could while I was there. I've put together a few little snippets for you to share today so that you can kind of see what the trip looked like. You can see it for yourself. I bought a few things. One of them I need to unpackage. It's a mystery, so I'm excited to unbox that for you. Oh man, we got a bunch more people jumping in the chat. What is going on? Did Robert mention? Robert, are you going live later? Definitely let me know. We got Jigs Kingdom. I was hanging out on his channel last night a bunch. So if you missed that, you should definitely be subscribed to Jigs, hanging out with him. I was in his Discord this morning. He was still asleep, but Marcus, Perry, and Ben and I, we all solved some problems this morning. We fixed the world's issues, is what it was. $2 super chat. Drew is back, and thank you for the super chat, Rod. So I'm going to play a little video like I do for when people drop me a super chat. Let's see. You want this one? We built this city. I'll give you a couple, Rod.
We built this city on rocket. Yeah.
And then Rod wants the me party, I'm sure. Where's the me party? There it is.
Me party. A party for myself. I'm having a me party, and I need nobody else.
There you go. Thank you, Rod, for the super chat. I appreciate you, my brother. Hilarious. Love it. Let's see here. Who else did we miss? Did we miss somebody? I think we got everybody. Let's see. But thank you for that, Rod. I appreciate you, man. Yes, Christina's always with those links. Always ready. Always happening. So why was I going to Portland? I was visiting Jen. I know she's struggling with this potentially newest round of radiation and chemotherapy. It's just been really, really hard on her energy level, on her ability to not be nauseous and keep food down and keep her strength up. It's been really difficult. And I got messages a couple of weeks back from Bueller, and he connected me to Jen's mom. So then mom and I, her name is Robin, I should say. Robin and I and Bueller were kind of all talking and kind of looking at like, well, what can we do? I had planned to visit Jen for Veterans Weekend. I had bought a plane ticket, a stupidly non-refundable plane ticket. And my plan was I'm going to go see Jen, and I'm not going to tell her. I'm just going to surprise her. But I didn't realize how rapidly this was progressing for her. So I dropped about $500-600, and I moved my plane flight up to last weekend. And I messaged my friend Scott, student of comics, and I was like, Scott, I'm coming. Can you make this work? And he was incredibly gracious and picked me up at the airport at like midnight, and then let me crash in his spare bedroom and let me play with his dog, who is awesome. You'll see Flower in the videos I'm going to share. And then I got to spend a few days with great people up in the Portland area. Bueller made a huge trek across the country in his van. He just crushed it all the way to New Mexico to see his baby granddaughter, and then all the way up north to Portland in time to be there. And he even beat me to Jen's hotel. So he was tearing it up. So I saw Bueller, saw Jen, saw Robin, saw Brian from Marvel by the Month, who's been helping Jen a ton up in that area, and saw Bullseye Bob as well. So a lot of great people that up in that area that I got to meet and spend time with. I did go to visit some shops. I wasn't there to shop as much as I was to just kind of see the Portland comic scene and get to know some of the locals in that area and get kind of a tour. The best part was obviously the friends and the food. It was just amazing. Lots of good things to eat and enjoy. So I'll share a lot of those kinds of things. We got Terry from the Bronze Page saying hi. Bueller is in the chat. What's going on, Bueller? And I hope your family's doing well. I know you guys just suffered a loss, and I was chatting with you last weekend. I hope things are maybe starting to stabilize a little bit, man. I really appreciate it. Really enjoyed seeing John. Meant so much. I mean, it meant a ton to me too, sir. So I'm gonna play my first clip of just the travel, and it does, I will say, have a guest appearance. So this is just me kind of getting to Portland to see the gang. Yeah, that was Sleepy Reader. Damien was leaving Portland to go to visit his mom back east. I was landing and there was like a 30-minute overlap and it timed perfectly. I gave him some comics and a hug, said hi in the airport, and then I exited the airport and he got on his flight. So there was the little bit of Damien, a little my Sleepy Reader moment that I got to have just saying hi to him. Yeah, and I watched Oppenheimer on the plane. Long movie, perfect for a plane flight. What is going on? Kenneth Bird and Steve from Captain Comics. What is going on, Steve? Uh, Sorry. Yes, and Rod's been sending great messages to Jen. You can always reach out to her. Comics, comic books will break your heart on Instagram, and leave her some notes, some well wishes, some funny pictures, whatever you got. And then, of course, I went from there to meeting and getting picked up by Mark. Sorry, oh my God, by Scott and then met his wife Aubrey, and then met Dog. Flower is an adorable dog. She's super sweet. So here's a little glimpse of Scott here. Yeah, if you don't know Scott, his YouTube account is Student of Comics, and I can definitely share that link to anybody who needs it. Uh, he is a comic creator. He does his own little comic magazines that he publishes, and he's also just a real good friend. He's been on my channel a few times for like comic gories. He's an avid collector as well, and he gave up so much of his time for me. He not only took a day off of work on Friday, but he then chauffeured me around the entire trip I was there. He took me everywhere I needed to go at any time I needed to get there. He had a concert to go to one night, and it was fine because I was exhausted and I got to do dog watching and hang out with Flower all night. But just huge thank you to Scott and his wife Aubrey for putting me up. I tried to treat them to some meals and cover some things for them just as like a thank you because they clearly went way out of their way for me for these days, and that was absolutely amazing. Yeah, I did not take any books from his collection. I didn't steal anything from him. This is the GoFundMe for Jen if you want to help her with her medical bills, which continually mount. She has a fracture in her arm right now. Her bone density is really weak, and she fractured her arm just doing basic daily stuff, and potentially may need to have a surgery down the road here if depending on how her strength goes. She's a little too weak now for that surgery, so she's just trying to keep it immobile. And I definitely hugged her a little too hard that first time and may have aggravated the injury a little bit. I don't know. So now the video I think everybody kind of wants to see, like, John, where's Jen? Like a lot of video, no Jen. So here's some of the footage with Jen and some of the people that I met while I was there. There's a little too much Bueller, but we'll just have to deal with that. Sorry, I'm getting all emotional watching that. But yeah, we were in the same place most times with Jen, which is the restaurant bar for the hotel. The elevators in their hotel let out right there into that lobby area, and Her mom is connected to Marriott, so that made it very easy for her to get a place to stay. And then Jen stays with her in the hotel while mom's in town. And it just makes it easy for access to anything that they need. They can just come down. The restaurant doesn't open till 4. So we tended to camp out there at lunchtime all the way to when the restaurant opened. And maybe that first hour of the restaurant being opened, we were there. And that was our best kind of like way to spend time and not have a bunch of people crowding around us. And Jen could get in and out with that walker whenever she needed to. There was a restroom nearby, and again, easy, quick access to their room if they just got too tired and wanted to go back up. So Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, we basically just tried to be near the hotel by lunchtime. And depending on Jen's strength level, she would come down with mom, who is her freaking twin. Like mom and Jen, you saw Robin a bunch in there as well. Mom and Jen are like twinsies. Like all the face expressions, all the smiles, laughs. It was like mini me. I think Robin even said she's my mini me. Amazing lady, just so fantastic. So, and Robin is still there as far as I know. They're looking at Airbnbs for November is where mom's at with it. She's trying to be there for all this next phase and kind of just support Jen and hope that it goes as well as possible. Way too much Bueller, Carlito. I get it. What are you going to do? Right? Not much you can do. I mean, I'm getting there, Rod. I'm getting there. I'm not Santa Rican yet. I'm not the Santa Rican, but I'm getting there. Let's see. Did I miss anybody else? I'm not getting a dog, Rod. I'm not getting a dog. Not having it. Bronze Age Nerd, what is going on? He says he's heading to Portland today. I hope you have a great trip. I've got a really long video here at the end, like 2.5 minutes, just on the shops that I visited. There are some incredible comic shops, unbelievable. So I'm sure you'll have some good comic hunting while you're in the area. Although I think you live in that area, if I'm not mistaken. Between the times when Jen was maybe not feeling so great or tired, exhausted, whatever, that's when Scott would take me around and we would hit up coffee shops, comic shops, restaurants and whatever, and just kind of like get a tour of the city. He was an amazing tour guide. Scott and his wife did a great job kind of sheltering me from whatever and taking care of me and then shepherding me to really great shops and things. So I went to, I think, like 5-6 different shops. I always thought of Portland as coffee, comics, and weed. I was like the big 3. I had never been before. I will say the coffee and comics were definitely true. I don't know about the weed. I didn't see much of that, but the culture around comic shops I thought was very interesting in that every shop had a different personality. I feel like California comic shops have like a lot in common. They tend to be very similar, but these shops were all incredibly unique, absolutely original kind of stuff. And I was really taken aback by just kind of the diversity of these shops. And some of them, like in shopping malls, yet still had an indie aesthetic with a lot of indie comics and, self-publishing kind of stuff. Others, there's one that legitimately going down into this place felt like a dungeon and you couldn't navigate it. It was an absolute chaotic kind of thing. And I wanted to explore it, but I was also scared I needed like tetanus shots. I was like, it was that kind of a place. And then Jen's LCS, run by a lady named Katie, was incredible. And I bought most of what I purchased from them just because I wanted to support them, because I know they've supported Jen a ton. And so I bought some collected editions from them, and I bought the mystery box I'm going to open here in a little bit. So a lot of that stuff. Bronze Engineer says, I'm a bit north, but I go a lot. Used to live there, going to the Frankenstein comic swap. That sounds incredible. That sounds wild. So I'm going to play the video now that shows the comic shops. It's a little long. It's 2 minutes or 2.5. 2.5 minutes. But you'll get a sense of all these different shops. I tried to snag video of the names of the shops as I went in so you could kind of get a sense of it. But yeah, here we go. Comic shopping in Portland. I get a little bit of a heart palpitation just from that last one because that's the dungeon. Bueller was like, I don't even go in that place, and Jen was like, "Isn't it wild?" She's like, "I think they have everything. You just can't find any of it because it's all piled up, and you're down in this. You're going like down underground. There's like a dance studio up above and an art. There's like a place where the local artists come for like sketching classes and stuff. But downstairs is like this. It's not even like a warehouse. It's just like a stock room almost of stuff. And you can't even navigate. Like it's so narrow and things are like triple stacked. You can't even get into things. It was just wild. But yeah, those are some of the shops I visited. Cosmic Monkey was easily the best store as far as navigating things and having back issues and having new issues and having omnis. So if you're in that area for shopping and you've never been to Cosmic Monkey, that place was unbelievable. And that was Scott's LCS. And then Books with Pictures is Jen's LCS. And wow, what a knowledgeable owner. Like just every indie book you could ever want, new comics. They even had a bunch of like collected floppies that you could buy. And so that there were the shopping opportunities in Books with Pictures was just as good. And so those are those are the two I would recommend most highly, and I was really impressed with. So let me show you some of the stuff I grabbed while I was there. What's up, TK's in the chat? How's it going, man? I did snag. I was looking for a soft cover. I have this in a hard cover, and it just doesn't fit on the bookshelf very well. And I was always kind of bothered by the size of it. So I may give away my Batman Incorporated hardcover now that I've got a nice trade, which I don't think these are in print as anymore. So I was happy to snag one of those. And then Jen got me into reading Batwoman, which is why I have that behind me now, and the amazing art of J.H. Williams. And when I mentioned this to her, she's that I had never really read anything by J.H. Williams, and she said, Promethea, you got to read Alan Moore's DC Promethea, which has 3 hardcover volumes. So I snagged the first volume. J.H. Williams is incredibly talented, and I'm surprised I'd never heard of him before reading the Batwoman stuff that he did, which started in Detective Comics. I have the omnibus thanks to Jen. She recommended it. I saw it for a reasonable price, and I snagged it long ago, but I've just recently started like tearing into it. And the first thing I noticed was J.H. Williams is a master, and these are incredibly well-drawn books. So I wanted more, and this is more. This is where more happens for me. Alan Moore, and literally more comics with J.H. Williams artwork. So we will see how this goes down if I end up getting 2 and 3 at some point. So I snagged that one. Let's see. Bronze Nerd saying, check out I Like Comics if you make it up again. I don't think I did. I don't remember a store called I Like Comics. It wasn't in the montage, so odds are probably I did not get to that one. Wellbore says, I used to buy comics from a guy in his basement when I was a teen. Floor joists were like 6 inches high, or 6 feet high, and it was lit with an incandescent bulb with a chain on a switch. Yeah, I mean, some of those kind of places, they are like the best hidey holes, but are they like also places where they're going to murder and skin you? You don't know. Drew Manchu says, cool shops. Canadian Survivalist is in the chat. What's going on, sir? Let's see. Yeah, I did get a little vibe from that. I did get a little vibe. But it was amazing what all they had down there. I mean, everything probably. So those were the first 2. And then the last collected edition I snagged has to do with Scott and Jen and their recommendation that I check out Love and Rockets. This is by the Hernandez brothers, and I hear is maybe akin to the self-publishing process of like Strangers in Paradise. Indie comic fans probably will be like, John, you've never read Love and Rockets. What's wrong with you? It is an iconic series, published in magazine sort of anthology form, meaning they would put out a magazine and it would have like 3 or 4 stories in it, and they would be each story would seemingly be disconnected and not necessarily related to one another. And you might like, oh, I like this character in this story. Well, next month when the magazine came out, you'd have 3 more stories, and it would continue the journeys of those other 3, right? So you get like lots of different characters and their different journeys, science fiction and romance and all that kind of stuff. So what I have here is the way they've started to collect them is in character volumes, meaning they would take all the characters, for in this case, all the Maggie the Mechanic storylines, and pull them from the magazines and basically like collect them in one volume so you could just read the Maggie the Mechanic storyline. So you can get Love and Rockets in these collected editions and follow the characters that you want, or in the end, get all of them and kind of read all the stories in the way that they were sort of maybe meant to be read, as like following that one plot line. I've never read it. So this is my first foray into the world of Love and Rockets. And this is Jaime Hernandez's piece that he was drawing and writing this, but his brother, what's his brother's name? Oh, now I already messed it up. Somebody in the chat's going to help me. But there's two brothers, Hernandez brothers, and they were each doing different stories in the magazine. So sometimes a volume might be more one brother versus the other. So this one, the Maggie the Mechanic stuff, I guess, was all Jaime. So there you go. So there's another thing to add to my to be read pile, but something that will definitely remind me of Scott and Jen and this experience in Portland. Lastly, I wanted to mention, I told you Scott was a self-published comic artist, and here it is, Star Wrestling by Scott. This is Scott's self-published piece. There's his Instagram. If you're looking for Scott on Instagram, my host in Portland, Scott JHPDX. This is his comic, and he'll go to Portland area conventions and comic swaps and set up a booth and sell his book, sell his indie book. So here it is, Star Wrestling. I tell him he needs to get this out more. He needs to have more opportunities for people to get this, and more awareness in our community that we have, like always, so many talented people in our community. And Scott is absolutely one of those people, besides being just one of the nicest people. So there you go. Now you have another self-published community member out there making moves. And if you're in the Portland area, you might catch up with Scott at a local shop or at a comic swap, those kinds of things. So there's most of my purchases. I got one last thing. Oh, Damien missed his cameo earlier, but I hope you're home again and safe and sound back in Portland. You had one little snippet in one of the videos I played earlier, but I'm glad to see you, sir. And I was glad to catch up with you. Last thing. Where did I put it? I don't even know where I put it. Oh, I buried it. That's why. I thought I would do it last, but I'm going to do it now. I'm feeling it now. Just finish out what's going on here. When I was cruising through Jen's local comic book shop called Books with Pictures, they have these fun, like, comic grab bags. The idea is it's, as it says, 10 books for $10. I was like, oh, that's a good deal. I just started looking through them, and this one said Storm. It says Aurora Monroe Storm right on it, and it's in Jen's comic shop. I have no clue what books are in here. No idea. It's still completely taped up and sealed. So this is the sort of mystery box unboxing I'm doing with you all now. And I have a bet. I don't know what the stakes are. I have a bet going with Magic Lasso. He says there will only be one comic in here that I don't own. He is saying that 9 out of the 10 comics in here, 9 out of the 10, he says, will be books I already own. And there will only be one. My hope is that there will be at least 2 or more books that I do not own, or covers, variants that I don't own in this bag. You can make your own bets in the chat. We got Gore Vidal in the chat, and I knew he would be a Love and Rockets fan. I could just get that vibe. So thank you, Gore, for affirming that with me, that your taste and Jen's and Scott's and so many countless other community members are in line. And mine are behind the times, as always. So here we go. Got my John's Comics with Kids Blade. Let's cut into this bag. Can we beat 9 out of 10? Or no, I should say, can we beat 1 out of 9? 1 out of 10. I'm hoping for 2 or 3 books that I don't already own. So, all right, let's see here. Don't want to cut anything. I already see that I own the first book. Off to a rough start, John. Off to a rough start. There we go. Okay. The first book I definitely own. It's a great variant, though, but I do own it. All right. Put the put my Hoarder's Hide knife away. Thank you to Scott of Hoarder's Hide, as always. So I don't know how to do this so that I can't peek. I'm going to try not to peek. So I'm going to just look at you. This is the first one, and I definitely have this variant, but it's a great variant. Immortal X-Men is a great series, and I bought a ton of Immortal X-Men, so this was a safe bet if it's Immortal X-Men that I own it. So we are 0 for 1. All right, next book. Oh, and I own this one too. This is an amazing variant. I will definitely give this away to someone in the community. Love this cover. Gorgeous, amazing. I can't believe they gave this away for $1 in that box. Dang. This is a good sign, but I'm 0 for 2. 0 for 2. Third book. I don't have this one. This is one I don't have. Look at that. That is a fantastic variant. Who did this one? Nacha Bustos. That is a cool variant with the butterfly and the rainbow. That is a cool Stormbreakers variant for X-Men issue number 9. There we go. I'm 1 so far. 1 for 3. This is looking good for me. Maybe Magic Lasso and I underestimated it. So here we go. Oh, do I have this one? I may have to check my CLZ. These are the Dodderman cards. So this is for X-Men 33. Do I have my phone? I got my phone. I got to check my CLZ because I can't remember if I own this variant. I should have been ready for this, gang. I'm sorry about that. X-Men. Let's see. Which volume is this? Ew. So many volumes, gang. Let's see. Does it tell me on the inside? I doubt it's going to tell me what volume on the inside. Issue 33, though. Let's see here. It's got to be volume 5. Let's see. Issue 33. Scroll to the bottom. I do have it. I do have this variant. So there you go. I have this variant. It's funny. I've got 3 copies of issue 33. So there you go. That is one of them. 1 for 4. Next up. Oh, I have this one for sure. That's an X-Men cover. Yeah. That is a great one. Linnell Yu, I think. That is a great cover. All right. You have too much Ivy and Storm. You're not wrong. You're not wrong. All right. 1 for 5? I have this one. Lucas Wernick and look, Lucas Wernick is a jam. And he's now drawing the current Storm solo series. So this is from Storm and the Brotherhood, issue 1. And Lucas Wernick and I, we're simpatico. So this is definitely a cover I would have picked up. So there we go. Magic Lasso is doing well. We got 4 books left. I can feel them, but I'm not looking. I do have this one, X-Men Red. This is a great one. I'm just happy I got 1 so far. 1 for 6. 1 for 7? 1 for 7 now. Come on, John. I got to pull 1 more. But I did well. This is a good bag of comics. I'm telling you right now, there's some bangers in here. Let's see. Whoa. Oh, I don't think I have this one. Mohawk Storm as well. This is from her solo series, and I did not even buy the solo series. I just read issue 1 and didn't care for it, so I just stayed away from the variants. But this is a gimme. Look, you got Nightcrawler's foot, Wolverine drowning. You got Colossus and Rogue, and who's Colossus holding? Maybe it's Moira. It looks a little like maybe Kitty or Moira. It's hard to tell. But I don't have this one. There we go. 2 for 8. We got 2 left here, folks. 2 left. Ooh, this is a great one. I do think I have this card variant for Sword issue 9. I'm going to double check. Sword issue 9. Just checking. All right, let me check. Sword. Sword. Oh, I have to put the dots in between. S dot W dot. There it is. And issue 9. Yes, I do have this variant. So there you go. Last book. I'm already 2 for 10 or 2 for 9. I definitely own this cover. Look at that one. This is a Mark Brooks, if I'm not mistaken. The pose, the background, the hair, Immortal X-Men, Mark Brooks. You know I'm going to buy this book. But I came out on top. 2 count them, 2 out of 10 that I did not own. The rest are gorgeous copies. I can compare and see which is the nicer one. I keep one. I'll start giving some of these away, but absolutely worth $10. A dollar a comic. These books were $1 a piece. And that was a cool. I came into Jen's shop and I was looking around. I was like, I got to get some good stuff here. And I saw those and I was like, there's no way that I need any of this. And then I saw Storm's name on there and I was like, bought and sold right there. It's happening. So there we go. Success and a little fun unboxing, a little fun content for all of you. And I'm sure I'll post all these over on Instagram at some point just because, yeah, some absolute bangers, absolute bangers. Am I part of John Cena chain gang, Ginger gang, or John's gang? Are you talking about like channel members? Is that what you're talking about? It's a great point that you're bringing up here. I have long pushed back against the idea of channel memberships because I'm not a member for anybody's channel because I don't like the feeling of, well, I did it for this person, but I didn't do it for that. It instantly created a hierarchy in my anxiety where I was just like, "Ooh, is this person going to be offended because I did it for this person, but not for that person?" I didn't want to create any. That's just me as the consumer, not wanting to create it. So it was easier just to do none than it was to do like, oh, this one or not that one. As a creator, I didn't want any kind of a paywall between my friends and me. So I was always like, do I set that up and then create this kind of like, well, those people, because they pay a little extra, they get something. I was kind of like, so I was always hesitant to do anything like that for my channel. However, those of you that have heard the wicked rumors, StreamYard is significantly raising the price of its platform in a big way. And I don't really want to leave, so I'm going to probably continue and just pay it. So how do I offset that? One of the ideas is set up channel memberships and all the money goes to StreamYard. People contribute a few dollars a month or whatever it is, and that money just goes to pay off StreamYard. So maybe there's a way to kind of do something for that. So I'm considering it just for that purpose and creating some way to kind of like feel like I'm covering that cost. Because it was fine when it was a couple $100 a year, and I was kind of just like, okay, I can kind of make it work. But now it's going to be $500 a year. It's a lot. So I've got to decide kind of what that looks like going forward. I'm waiting till the first bill comes so that I have a better sense of like, what does that look like for me and what can I afford? So something to think about for me, but it's possible that it could be something coming in the near future. What's up, Justin? Retro Things channel. No, it's just me. I'm not, my Saturday show is not one where I have guests unless I'm doing Comics Curing Cancer and I'll have like Rob come on or something like that. But I generally don't host anybody on my channel when it's Saturday because it's usually just me and my kids, as Cliff always says, there's no kids on your channel, John. There's no kids. They're behind me on the wall, thanks to Shop. But they're not on the channel. They're sleeping. They're both sleeping right now. What is up, Tony? What did you miss? All of my Portland recap. We're at 42 minutes in, and it's I've done a couple of short videos highlighting comics and Jen and Scott and the air travel with that experience. And then I shared everything that I purchased, everything that I've got. There was one more from Scott. I realized he had another volume from his Star Wrestling, and so there's a flip book in here as well. Look at that Bride of Frankenstein with the bat. Are you kidding me? I love it. So there was a second comic I forgot that was part of that Star Wrestling from our friend in the community, Scott. So that's my whole experience in Portland. It was amazing. And I just, it was, obviously it was heart-wrenching, but also heartwarming to be there among such great friends and to connect with people that I'd maybe only seen through a screen, and to spend time with Jen, who I really just spent most of the time hugging, kissing, squeezing, just kind of like wrapping her up in thank yous from me, my family, and then all the community, everybody who reached out and either contributed through jigs or, and I say that, yes, through jigs, or anybody who messaged me and said, "Hey, can you say hi to Jen for me?" I sent all those targeted hugs to her through me as the intermediary. It was amazing, and I really was grateful for that. Even though I knew it was hard on her energy levels, and I know I was pushing her a little bit to get up every day and get mobile and come down and say hi and all that kind of stuff. I think it was taking a lot out of her, but I knew that it was important, and I think she felt she felt like she didn't want to miss any of it either. She was in good spirits. She was sitting there laughing. She wanted to know about what books are people talking about, what's going on in the community. She wanted to learn all about and I've never mentioned it on my channel, but the whole Comic Tom Sticky Goose thing. She wanted to know all the tea. She wanted to sit there and walk through all of it and hear all of it, and it was very funny to hear it kind of recap from like the Cliff Notes edition. It was very entertaining. Bethany's in the chat. She said, "Go away, husband." Bethany, your books are in the mail. And so they should be arriving at the early part of next week. So your prize winnings are on the way. And I thank you a ton for all your support and all the ways in which you've contributed to Comics Curing Cancer. And yeah, you're amazing. So don't let your husband touch them. They're not for him. We got Promiscuous Time Traveler. What's going on, Kyle? Good to see you, my friend. Hope your day is going well. We got Wellbore saying hello in the chat. What's going on, Wellbore? Yeah, so that was my experience, and lots of great food. Like I said, the friends and the food were the highlight. Absolutely. I used some of the money that Jigs. I know I was supposed to spend it all on airfare, and but I'd already bought my ticket, so it all went to that for sure. But in my mind, I guess, every day when we met with Jen and her mom at the hotel, they would always get a couple appetizers once the bar opened, and Jen's mom, Robin, refused to let anybody pay. She was very adamant. She had strict instructions with the staff, and they all knew her, so it was hard to manage any of that. Well, one day she bought a bunch of appetizers, and Scott Bueller and I all bought a beer, and I snuck to the bathroom and I paid. And I wrote on the receipt, like, from the comic community. So the idea was, those of you that contributed, I foot that bill for Jen and for Robin in your names. And Robin doesn't know that it was me, and she probably won't watch this video most likely. But if she does, I'm sorry, Robin. But there were a lot of community members who sent a little bit of money to me specifically for this trip, and I wanted to pass that on. I wanted to pay that forward to you guys, and I hope that you can forgive me a little bit. But I was very smooth, Carlito. You would have been proud, brother. I got up to go to the bathroom. I swung by the bar and held out my card so that they took it, and then went to the bathroom, came back, swung by the bar and signed and left the note. The only part that wasn't smooth was I got down the block and realized I had left my sandwich from lunch that I was going to have for dinner, the second half of my sandwich. So I had to run back, and Robin was bringing it out as I was running back. So, but she still didn't know until later, and I guess I got in trouble. Bullseye Bob made a little cameo in that video too. If you didn't see him, he was there at the coffee shop with Scott Bueller and me. It was great getting to see you as well as everybody else in town, Bob. I appreciate you coming by and hanging out a little bit and talking kids and family and comics and all life and stuff. So it was great hanging out with you, sir. Appreciate it. So that was fantastic. Yeah, and that was my trip, and it was emotionally draining, of course, but emotionally enriching at the same time. I felt very much grateful for sure. I came away feeling like I was just so absolutely glad that I made the choice to just like move my flight. And it was absolutely the best choice. And there he is. Oops, sorry, not Damien. Hi, Damien. But there's Scott. I've been talking about Scott all morning. I've been holding up his books. I've been talking about how grateful I was. I was showing you pictures of his dog. And there he is in the chat. I would really appreciate it if you guys aren't subscribed to Scott. There's his link. Christina just dropped his link. And a ton of thank yous to Scott and Aubrey and Flower, of course, for hosting me for those days and being a chauffeur and taking me all around and everything. So Scott, if you watch this on the rewind or back it up, you'll see a lot of videos. You'll see yourself all through it, of course. And I just I was highlighting and saying a lot of thank yous and running through this incredible weekend that I had last weekend with all of you. So there you go. And I'm going to make more content. I've got a ton of video that I shot. I'm just not sure how to piece it together yet, but I wanted to make a few snippets to be able to share so that people could see what it was like, what, you know, how Jen looked and how we were all hanging out together. And Jen's mom, again, her twin, like I really do believe you watch those videos again and you see twinning going on here. In fact, there's a few new people. So I'm going to play the Jen portion again, and you'll get to see some of that with her, because I do think if you catch Robin with the right smile at the right moment, it's like twinning. So yeah, here you go. Sorry, I'm like geeking out on myself here. I'm like, oh, that's so cute. Yeah, so absolutely incredible, and just great people and so wonderful. So yeah, I'm glad all of you are subscribing, checking in on Scott, because he's pushing himself to make 2025 the year of like getting his book out there more and promoting himself and making this fun side hustle hobby thing maybe into something more exciting. So we gotta, if we're all supporting him, maybe he'll be forced to make more content in and around his books and what he's got coming up. So that would be a lot of fun. Thanks, Drew. I appreciate you, man. I appreciate you coming by, sir. Yeah, so a lot of fun. And I didn't get to new comic books. I guess I could fly through them real quickly here at the end, because I do know there's a ton of you that you know, that you want to hear what's going on. I really, it's just a couple things this week. Tom Taylor finished Nightwing. His run of Nightwing ended this last week. This was great. It was a really good ending to one of my favorite Nightwing runs, period. I really enjoyed this. The last couple issues have been really well thought out, and the twists have been really effective, and cameos from Batman or Deadman, lots of cool stuff going on. So this was a great ending and worthy of everything that came before it, for sure. I finally caught up on Wonder Woman. So I read issues 10, this is 11 and 12 and 13, and then the new issue that just dropped, 14. Stick came up. I just snagged this issue. This issue is phenomenal and emotional and well done. Fantastic. I know that 11, 12, and 13 were Absolute Power tie-in issues, which I know some people just really couldn't, you know, they couldn't hang with that. And they weren't as good as the other stuff that Tom King's been doing, but of course he's, you know, obligated to kind of stick it out. So I enjoyed 11, 12, 13, but they're not at the same level as 1 through 10 and then 14, where they're really focusing on the current storyline involving Wonder Woman and the Sovereign and the League, the Lasso of Lies, and the weaponry that they're you know, how they're weaponizing falsehoods. Really amazing. So this issue 14 was right back in keeping with what King has been doing in this run. Daniel Sampier is crushing the artwork in this series. It is so flipping good, page to page, absolutely amazing. So if you can find issues 1 through 10 and 14, Get them, read them, enjoy them. They're great. 11, 12, and 13 are just fine. They're very good. And they're still written by Tom King, but 1 through 10 and 14, that's the juice, and that's the stuff you don't want to miss out on because it's absolutely fantastic. And I highly recommend it. Biggie Shack, I hung out a little bit with him on the hunt last night as well. Biggie had a great night. He crushed it. So congrats, Biggie, on a great night last night, man. But that's it for me. Those are my new books. Those are the pickups. That was the experience in Portland, and what an amazing time I had. So I thank you guys all for hanging. I thank you for taking the time, and for anybody who obviously helped support me through jigs, getting there, or at least having a smaller credit card bill when I came back. That's the reality, right? Because I'd already bought the ticket, I'd already paid for the transfer, but you guys donated, and now I can lessen that credit card bill that's coming. It's gonna hit here at the end of the month. So I appreciate the support in doing that. So big thank you to all of you guys for doing that. So now I am going to duck out and get on with my day, but I'll be in and out of the chats. Hopefully I won't be coming down with COVID-like symptoms after getting my jabs yesterday. But at least I'm feeling good right now. So just keep hydrating, and we'll see how it goes. Thanks everybody, and I'll catch you guys all again. Wait, where am I? I'll catch you guys again soon.